Blue Sky Studios gave us some of the most iconic villains in animation, and some who have the personality of a wet cardboard box. From terrifying prehistoric pirates to a guy who just wants to look good in glittery pants. Today, we're ranking every Blue Sky villain by how much of a threat they actually are. F tier, El Primero.
Es un honor.
I do not shake. My hands are my instruments.
El Primero is a well-known celebrity matador in the movie Ferdinand, a film about a pacifist bull who refuses to fight. As a famous figure in bullfighting, El Primero is used to luxury and fame, and he prides himself on his reputation. His choice to pick Ferdinand for the upcoming fight, though, proves to be a regret when the bull refuses to engage in the arena, making El Primero's task more difficult. In the movie, El Primero serves as the antagonist, symbolizing the senseless violence of bullfighting and directly contrasting with Ferdinand's peaceful nature. Despite being a major figure in a cruel and outdated tradition, El Primero is shown to take his career seriously. He respects the legacy of bullfighting and gives his best effort in every performance, which adds a bit of depth to his character. However, his confrontation with Ferdinand ends in public humiliation, but also in an unexpected moment of mercy when Ferdinand spares him. Although he has some depth in the context of his role as a matador, El Primero ultimately falls short as a villain. His lack of menace, personality, or memorable actions weakens his position. He doesn't scheme, monologue, or engage in any truly villainous behavior. He's simply a character in a matador costume, going through the motions. There's nothing about his character that stands out or makes him memorable as a true antagonist. For all these reasons, El Primero lands in the F tier. He doesn't leave an impression beyond being a prop in the film. Gavin.
We are not retreating. Until that weasel came along, our family made an honest living stealing dino egg.
In Ice Age: Collision Course, the 5th movie in the series, the gang goes to space. Yes, you heard that right. They went to space. The movie opens with Scrat triggering an asteroid shower that threatens to wipe out Earth, and Manny and the crew must unite to stop it. Sounds intense, right? But somehow, the real villains end up feeling like a total afterthought. Gavin, the leader of a family of egg-stealing bird dinosaurs, wants the asteroid to crash and destroy the mammals so they can fly off to safety. His plan is as dumb as it sounds, and the movie doesn't shy away from showing how ridiculous it is. Gavin's lack of a solid plan and his constant distractions make him more of a nuisance than a real threat. He doesn't even seem to take his own plan seriously, instead focusing on his feud with Buck Wild, who has a history of stopping the birds from stealing eggs. By the end of the movie, Gavin has a sudden redemption arc, deciding to save the planet for his family. However, this change of heart feels unearned, especially since he's been a terrible father throughout the film. Despite the wild space premise, Gavin ends up being the most forgettable part of the movie. D tier, Big Boss.
Perhaps the better question is, what are they doing?
Nature freaks.
Now, we move on to Rio 2, where we head deep into the Amazon rainforest, where a logging company led by Big Boss is determined to chop it all down. Why? Well, to destroy the home of a hidden flock of blue macaws, including Blue's long-lost family. Big Boss is a classic villain, a one-dimensional, environmentally evil strawman here to serve the film's environmental message. He's a simple bad guy with a single goal: destroy the rainforest and stop anyone in his way. Big Boss's character is painfully generic. He has no personality or depth. In fact, the only thing that sets him apart is his habit of sucking on a lollipop in every scene, a character quirk that feels more like filler than anything interesting. It's hinted that his company is responsible for separating Blue from his family years ago, but the movie doesn't explore this personal vendetta in any meaningful way. The real problem is that Big Boss gets lost in the chaos of the film's many plots. With family drama and Nigel's revenge storyline stealing the spotlight, Big Boss feels more like a placeholder than an actual villain. He's deforestation guy, and honestly, the film would work just as well if he were replaced with a big bad logging company sign. The Red Baron. This one's a bit different. In the Peanuts movie, there's a subplot where Snoopy imagines himself as a World War I flying ace, battling the villainous Red Baron to save his love interest, Fifi, a pretty poodle. While this villain isn't exactly a central character, I included him in the ranking after polling my fans, and the majority said he counts. What makes the Red Baron unique is that his entire personality is conveyed through the animation of his plane. We learn about him purely from the way he flies. He's ruthless, aggressive, tactical, and imposing. His menace is made personal because he's captured Snoopy's love interest, making Snoopy's mission not only about proving himself as a pilot, but also about rescuing Fifi. But the Red Baron is still more of a fantasy obstacle. He doesn't affect the main plot, and his presence is confined to Snoopy's daydreams. Once Snoopy stops writing his story, life goes back to normal. So, why is he ranked low? Simply put, he's not a real villain in any meaningful sense. He's a daydream, a figment of imagination. With no personality, face, or lines, he's just vibes. He's a fun bit, but not a memorable villain. C tier, the sour kangaroo. There's a voice that refuses to listen. A presence that shuts down hope before it even begins. In Horton Hears a Who, Horton the elephant discovers a tiny civilization on a speck of dust and decides to protect it, despite everyone thinking he's lost his mind. The sour kangaroo, however, becomes a main antagonist of the story. As the enforcer of conformity in the jungle of Newell, she refuses to believe in the speck and is determined to stop Horton from continuing his mission. Her belief in absolute conformity drives the sour kangaroo's action throughout the film. She labels Horton as dangerous for believing in something invisible and unprovable, and she rallies the jungle animals against him. Her goal becomes clear: destroy the speck to maintain the social order. She convinces Vlad, the vulture, to destroy the clover holding the speck, and even goes so far as to manipulate and control the jungle's community by spreading fear. The most chilling moment is when she almost trades her son, Rudy, for the services of an assassin to further her agenda. She also organizes a mob, nearly destroying the speck, and relentlessly tries to silence anyone who dares to believe in Horton's cause. What earns the sour kangaroo a place in the C tier is that she's not just a cartoonish villain. She has a clear motivation, her firm belief in conformity, and an ideological stance drives her. Although her redemption arc feels rushed, she is a memorable antagonist who serves the film's message about faith and empathy. Soto, Ice Age.
What are you doing? Leave the mammoth alone.
In the original Ice Age, Soto leads a pack of saber-toothed tigers on a mission to capture and eat a human baby in revenge for the human's role in the demise of his pack. This is the movie that started the entire franchise and introduced us to Scrat, the greatest background character in animation history. Soto's vendetta against humans is driven by personal pride rather than any sense of righteous justice, as he seeks to avenge the death of his pack. He orders his tiger pack to kidnap the baby, but his plans unravel as Diego, one of his own tigers, ends up betraying him after bonding with Manny, the mammoth, Sid, the sloth, and the baby. Soto is a cold, calculating villain. He wants the baby as part of a deeply personal revenge, and he maintains strict control over his pack, using fear and violence to keep them in line. He contrasts sharply with Manny and Sid, who form a quirky, protective family. Soto's aggressive, militaristic approach to leadership makes him an excellent foil to the movie's theme of teamwork and family. While Soto is a fierce and threatening villain, his screen time is limited and his defeat feels anticlimactic. Despite this, he serves his purpose as a grounded antagonist in the first Ice Age movie. B tier, Mandrake, epic.
These were his baby fangs. And here's the first skin he ever molted. It was big for a larva. It took after his mother.
A movie about a teenager who is shrunk to the size of a leaf and discovers a hidden civilization of forest warriors. Mandrake is a leader of the Boggans, creatures of rot and decay. His goal is to destroy the forest, creating an imbalance in nature. Mandrake is a unique villain in that he isn't a typical symbol of pollution. Rather, he represents the natural cycle of decay, an inherent part of nature. He wants to make the world a better place for his people, even if it means destroying the forest to do so. His belief in his cause, though twisted, adds a layer of complexity to his character. He's also a loving father, deeply mourning the loss of his son, Dagda, who was killed in battle, driving him to seek revenge on the Forest Queen. Mandrake is voiced by Christoph Waltz, bringing a calm, deliberate presence to the role. Unlike many animated villains, he doesn't rely on shouting or grand speeches. His thoughtful nature makes him an intriguing antagonist. While he's a well-designed character with thematic depth, Epic could have done more to explore his rivalry with the heroes and his culture. Nonetheless, Mandrake's nuanced motivations and memorable moments, especially his emotional response to his son's death, earned him a solid B-tier ranking. Madame Gasket, robots.
Who are these losers?
We, sir.
I'm a woman.
Madame Gasket is the ruthless boss of the Chop Shop, a grim facility where old robots are melted down for scrap. As the mother of Ratchet, the company's CEO, she pulls the strings from behind the scenes, running a twisted operation for profit, essentially overseeing a robot genocide. Gasket's character design is nothing short of iconic. Grotesque, menacing, and full of steampunk details, with lizard-like fiery eyes that give her a truly piercing presence. She's the epitome of a horrible boss, treating her employees as disposable and even punishing her own husband for standing in her way. Rather than her cruel nature, Gasket is a brilliant strategist. She's smarter than her son, Ratchet, and acts as the brains behind their family's corporate takeover. While she's mostly hidden in her sinister underground lair, she doesn't interact much with the outside world. However, she finally confronts the heroes in a thrilling showdown in the film's climax. Madame Gasket is a campy, devious, and intelligent villain who thrives in her role as a monster, enjoying every moment of it. Her twisted mother-son dynamic with Ratchet adds an interesting layer of dysfunction. A tier. Killian.
I told you, I don't even know you, man. But I know you. Think about it.
Next up, Killian from Spies in Disguise, the 2019 film where super spy Lance Sterling gets turned into a pigeon and has to team up with the awkward scientist kid who accidentally did it to him. It's funnier than it has any right to be and genuinely inventive in its action sequences. Killian is the main antagonist, a former agent who was betrayed and left behind on a mission. His face badly scarred, his trust in the agency destroyed. He's not just out for revenge, he's built an entire ideology around the idea that the one-person hero approach to espionage is fundamentally broken, that it always leaves people behind. His plan involves a drone army that'll destroy Lance and the agency that created him. Killian hits A tier because he's one of the few blue sky villains with a genuinely compelling argument. He's not wrong that the lone wolf spy culture has casualties. He's not wrong that people get left behind. He's just channeled all that legitimate grievance into mass destruction, which is where he loses the plot. Will Smith's voice performance brings charisma to the role, and the personal connection to Lance gives the conflict actual stakes beyond stop the bad guy. Rudy, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs. Rudy is introduced as a legendary, terrifying dinosaur who serves as the nemesis of the eccentric Buck. Rudy, an albino baryonyx, is hyped up throughout the film as a kaiju-sized prehistoric monster, and the film uses a theatrical flashback to build him up as an intimidating force. Rudy's rivalry with Buck is personal. He blinded Buck in one eye, and Buck retaliated by turning one of Rudy's teeth into his signature weapon. Rudy's big reveal doesn't entirely match the earlier build-up, but he still manages to deliver on the intimidation factor. With his pale skin, red eyes, and vicious jaws, Rudy is a monstrous presence, making him a difficult foe for our heroes. The problem is, Rudy doesn't get much screen time. He's more of a final boss that appears toward the film's climax. His role is less developed, and it's hard to rank him higher when he doesn't become a serious presence until the end. Despite this, Rudy's sheer primal fear factor earns him an A-tier ranking. He doesn't need motivation or dialogue. His roar, size, and menacing appearance immediately escalate the stakes. The final battle with Rudy is one of the most exciting in the Ice Age franchise, making him a memorable and powerful villain. S-tier. Nigel.
Hello, boys. Seems like you've had a busy day.
In Rio, Nigel is a sulfur-crested cockatoo who works for Marcel, a bird smuggler. His mission? To capture Blue and Jewel, two rare macaws, after they escape. Nigel is a maniacal character, willing to betray his own kind for a life of comfort, even showing no remorse for exploiting or even eating other birds. His cruelty is chilling, and he's genuinely threatening to both animals and humans. Standing out as a larger-than-life cockatoo with a scary face, he strikes fear into anyone who crosses his path. What makes Nigel stand out, however, is his theatricality. Once a beloved stage performer, he brings a level of campy elegance and charisma that makes him a joy to watch. Voiced by Jermaine Clement, Nigel is a deliciously demented villain, and Clement's performance, full of evil flair and manic energy, elevates the character. Nigel even gets his own villain song, Pretty Bird.
I'm invincible. I'm unmincible.
Is unhinged, petty, and tragic in the most entertaining way possible. In Rio 2, Nigel's character legacy is one of the most iconic and entertaining animated villains. He truly is a villain for the ages, full of style and substance. Captain Gut.
Morning, sunshine. Let me be the first to extend the hand of friendship.
From Ice Age, Continental Drift, Manny and his friends end up encountering Captain Gut, a giant ground sloth, Gigantopithecus, who captains a pirate ship made of ice. When Manny refuses to join Gut's pirate crew, the two clash, leading to a personal vendetta. Captain Gut is a classic villain with a twist. He's not just a ruthless pirate, but a charismatic leader with a crew of misfit prehistoric animals. Gut's sleek, pirate-inspired design, complete with a scraggly beard and a captain's hat made of fern, makes him visually striking. His ship is equally impressive, looking like a gothic iceberg that launches skulls for anchors. What sets Captain Gut apart from other villains is his personality and rivalry with Manny. Unlike Soto from the first Ice Age, Gut adds flavor and complexity to his character. He's a smooth talker, and his charm is one reason why his crew follows him. Gut's resentment toward Manny for destroying his ship and turning his right-hand tiger against him drives him to target Manny's family, making their conflict deeply personal. Captain Gut deserves S tier for being the only Blue Sky villain who wins multiple times in the story, each victory raising the stakes. His cold fury after being betrayed and his ability to switch between humor and terror make him a memorable and original villain. He's hands down the best villain Blue Sky has ever created. Well, some of these guys were born to be icons, while others were just there to fill up the runtime. But hey, at least they gave us some great memories and a lot of nightmares. How would you rank these villains? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch the next video shown on screen.